Yo, what's up guys? So a common question people ask me is, how do I accept payments? If you're watching this video, you've probably been screwed over before if you're a photographer or a videographer. And the worst thing is when clients don't send you payments or they cancel on you last minute. For me, when I first started out, I didn't have a specific structure on how I accepted payments. So since I didn't have a structure, some clients would pay me upfront, some would pay me the day of, and some would pay me upon when I deliver the final product. So this would be a quick video explaining my opinions of collecting payments upfront, the day of, or after your photo or video sessions. So the first method would be collecting payments after your session. So this is a method you've probably done before or you are currently doing right now since you're just starting out. But by accepting payments this way, there are going to be a lot of cons when it comes to accepting payments after your session. And if you're accepting payments after you've already done all the work, you're most likely not valuing yourself as a creative and valuing your work and your time. Or you might just think it's ethically wrong to accept the full payment before you deliver the final product because you want your client to see the work you created before you accept the payment. But the biggest issue accepting payments after you've already done the work is you'll probably find out soon enough that clients will be taking advantage of you. So what I mean by taking advantage, they're gonna be canceling on you last minute, rescheduling last minute, not showing up to your session, or just not paying you in full at all, even after you deliver the final product. And the last thing you want as a creative is to not be valued for your work and your time and put in all this effort into planning for the client or even producing the video or the photo for the client already and not getting paid for your time and your work. So this method is definitely the way not to go if you're in this industry. Moving on, the second method of accepting payments is collecting the payment the day of the shoot. So this method is slightly better than the previous method, but you can still get screwed over. So just to give you guys an example, let's say you were in the process of pre-production for a video for a client. So you've already put in a bunch of hours into planning the shot list, the location scouting, and pretty much everything in between. You found the music, and you're ready to go. The shoot is pretty much tomorrow. So the morning of the shoot, let's say your client shoots you a text and tells you they have to cancel. So all the work you've already put in during pre-production, you're not getting paid for because you never accepted any amount of payment because you were planning on your client showing up the day of the shoot and paying you that day. When you give your clients an option to pay you the day of the shoot, they still have some leeway of backing out, canceling last minute, rescheduling, all those things you'd hate as a creative, and that's your worst nightmare. Also, the last thing you want is to be worrying about getting paid when you show up to meet your client for the first time or the second time. That's not the thing you want to be on your mind, like thinking about money, getting paid. You want to be thinking about the production that you're about to put on or the photo shoot you're about to put on. You know, you don't want to be worrying about having to ask your client those awkward questions. Oh, did you send me my money yet? Did you pay the invoice? That's not the conversation that you should be having the day of the shoot. Now, the last method you could take is to collect the payment up front. And that's what I recommend, and that's what I currently do right now. So after we go back and forth about everything we want and we're ready to secure the shoot date, I have my client pay a 50% initial payment up front for them to secure the shoot date and the time. And then the remaining balance of 50% will be due the day before the shoot. So I know some people like to accept the full payment a month before or a couple weeks before, but for me personally, what I'm doing right now of accepting 50% to secure the date and 50% the day before the shoot, it works for me and I can't really complain because everything's going smoothly, and I'll go into a couple reasons why I do so in just a little bit. So talking about the first portion of the payment, I have my clients pay the 50% initial payment up front because now I know they're serious, that they want to move forward with this session, that they can't back out. And most importantly, I know that they value my work and my time, and they're willing to pay me for that before even working with me. And here's a quick tip. When I talk to my client and in my contract, I call it a 50% initial payment rather than a deposit, because the initial payment secures the shoot date and time and it's non-refundable. Whereas if you called it a deposit, that implies that it is refundable. And the initial 50% payment is non-refundable because that's me blocking off that date and that time, securing it for that client. So since I'm securing it for that client, that means I can't book any other clients for that specific time as well. And if for some reason this client backs out of this project, I'm still getting paid for my time, because let's say I didn't have them pay the initial payment, then that's me losing out on other potential jobs and other potential clients that I could be making money off of if I had that time available. And also, not only does that 50% initial payment secure that shoot in time, that pretty much pays me for my time during the pre-production as well. I know that now I have a peace of mind when I'm planning the shot list, planning the location and everything in between, that I'm getting paid for those hours of work I'm putting in, rather than not having that initial payment and me not getting paid for the work I'm putting in and having to figure out if they are gonna pay me by the time of the shoot or if they're even gonna pay me at all. So now let's talk about that other 50%. I like to receive that the day before the shoot, because let's say I were to receive it a couple weeks before, and then let's say the shoot is a couple weeks after. When I show up to that shoot, it kind of feels like I'm not really getting paid, even though I already did get paid in full, you know? Whereas if I got that 50% payment the day before the shoot, it seems like there's still money coming in during that week of the shoot. But for some cases, some of you guys might need the full payment up front for some reason if you need the money. But for me, I like to kind of spread it out so I have money constantly rolling in, even though I'm still getting paid the same, if that makes sense. Also, another big reason why I don't like receiving the full payment a couple weeks before or even months before is because for any reason, let's say there were extreme circumstances where your client needs a refund, I don't have to worry about me not already using the second half of the payment that they already put down and having to refund that. Whereas let's say they had to cancel the shoot for some reason a week before the shoot, I don't have to worry about knowing I have that second half of the payment in my bank account to refund them because they didn't already pay it. Just to give you an example, let's say your client booked you for a commercial shoot and they put down 50% for the initial payment to secure the shoot date and time. Perfect. And let's say you had them pay the remaining balance a month before the shoot. And moving forward, let's say you're a couple days before your shoot, your client reaches out to you saying someone in their family passed away and they can't move forward with the shoot, and for some reason they don't want to reschedule. Could they have a refund for that second half of the balance that they already paid? So now you decide to refund your client that second half they already put down because of the circumstance. But you realize a camera lens just came out and you use that $500 towards that camera lens and you don't have that $500 to refund that client. You put yourself in this sticky situation that you wouldn't have been in if you accepted that second half payment the day before the shoot, because if your client canceled a week before, you don't have to worry about refunding because they never actually put down that second half yet. So there's gonna be circumstances where you might have to refund or your clients are gonna have to cancel, but you should have these outlined in detail in your contract so you don't screw yourself over and you don't want to screw your clients over. So making sure you put yourself in a situation where you don't have to deal with this kind of mess is best. But overall, there's gonna be cons when you accept payments after your session or the day of your session. And me personally, I like to collect the payments up front, and I gave you guys a couple reasons why. If you guys found this helpful at all, shoot me a comment below. Let me know what you guys thought of this, and I'll see you guys in the next one, fam.